Yo ho ho! What's going on, boys? It's been a few days. We back out here though. Let's get it popping. So we about to just vibe tonight. Just talk about a little bit of shit. Just hop on a little bit of stuff, bro. Yo, it's a lot to talk about, Aikido. A lot's been happening, like throughout a bunch of different things, bro. Like not just what I put in the title, just a bunch of different things. So let's hop on it. Like the video, subscribe. Let's get back on it, man. So, just trying to make sure everything working out and shit. Yeah, we got kicked out for a few more minutes. All right, whatever. So let's start with One Punch, bro. So, man, so this Empty Void. I haven't read the latest chapter yet. I'm still waiting so we can get together with the podcast boys, and do two of them at the same time. We're really just waiting for the next like big story arc, or for the big story arc to start, which has been like lollygagging here for a while. We have the makings of it. Obviously, it's the Neo Association, the Neo Heroes, and whatchamacallit. In this void situation, maybe both of them intertwined together, the next big storyline. But we'll see how that plays out. But you had like a clear telling. You could clearly see what the beginning of the next big arc was. Whenever all the heroes got together in response to like what was happening throughout all the different cities, like to an assault on the actual Hero Association, in consequence to the kidnapping of Wakanma, as it were. So that's what we're waiting for, really, like to really blow back up, because it's been lollygagging for a while, though, bro. But I don't know. I'm kind of low key. I'm waiting to see more from Empty Void. That's who I need to see a lot more from. Empty Void is like, I don't like the fact that he's like clashing with like Flashy and like Sonic. But the thing is that, like, as we talked about in the podcast, Homeless was also clashing with all different kinds of niggas. Like at a certain point, Atomic with the Sunblade was about to kill Homeless. Like, so we can't make it seem like there aren't heroes who can't beat the disciples or the envoys of God, as it were. We've seen that throughout the entirety of the series. Every single envoy of God has actually been beaten by somebody. Whether it was Tatsumaki beating Sairochi, whether it was basically King and Zombie killing Homeless, and then finally Saitama and Garou. So all these guys have been pretty much clapped, and then Blast apparently previously has defeated Empty Void. So there's a variety of people who've been clapping. I think Empty Void needs to have like a deep seeking type display to really catch our attention again, or to really stand out, because it's not as if like the entirety of the story is like surrounded around him. Like even with Garou, it started off small, but like the narrative itself was giving a lot of attention to it. Like so far nobody aside from like Flashy and like the information that he's discovered has really like made it seem like this is gonna pop off. Like that's really the only thing that's like giving us some type of inkling that like it may grow into something. But it's also giving us the same inkling to me. I feel more so that it's gonna be resolved here. That like somehow Flashy and the boys are about to resolve the problem that is Empty Void. And because Blast is showing up in the arc, it makes sense that he's the one that's gonna do it. Sure, but I don't know though, man. Like a bot, bro. Are they gonna give me a penalty if I don't fight the bot, bro? When did I agree? What setting do I have that lets me fight bots in this shit, bro? Hell nah, bro. Hell nah. You got me fucked up. Nah, you finna clap me, bro. Whatever. I guess I gotta touch the thing to make sure I don't fucking whatever it is. What's up? Do you care if people join VC or no? No, yeah. Slide through VC, though. Yo, Grim, you should know that the previous 7 chapters will be retconned. Yeah, that's what I want to talk about too. I want to hop on that too. Yeah, you can hop in VC though. I actually, yeah, I can do it since I'm not fighting this fucking bot, bro. This bot gonna have to clap me, bro. Yeah, hop on VC. Let me switch my my headphones to the Bluetooth shit. But yeah, that's kind of like why to me Empty Void so far, or what to me would like give Empty Void the stability he needs to like to actually be like breakout in terms of like maybe even boosting my interest to like the next storyline. He needs like a deep seeking scenario where multiple different relevant heroes are like damn near embodied by him, bro. Or he's drawing the attention of more people than just like a few people from the association. 1 second, I don't know where my mouse is. Yo, give me 1 second, bro. I'm gonna cut off the music in the background. Yeah, there's no way to make it. Yeah, whatever. Okay. All right. You can speak up, bro. I don't know if they can hear you at all. Hold on, let me see.
Yeah.
Say something now.
What's up?
Yeah, they should be able to hear you now. Okay, cool. Yeah, bro. So I'm just like just touching on a bunch of the stuff that it's in the title and like just to pass the night or whatever. So just hop into whatever you hear if you want to speculate on.
Yeah. You were talking about like the past few chapters and like Empty Void and the retcons and stuff.
Yeah,
were you going
specifically
to?
like how to make Empty Void like more of an explosive character or to draw more of my attention. Because like what I've been thinking of is that like Garou's rise was really big or really good, and I'm not sure how many other mediums or how many other stories I've read where like the build up for a villain like that was that good. I'm trying to think like if My Hero had like a variation of that with some hero to where like, and even with Garou, it was kind of like it was kind of quick because there weren't that many other things going on. Like sure the Monster Association was attacking, and sure the Super Tournament was going on, but there weren't that many other big storylines outside of Garou's hero hunting. Like he was pretty good. And even then, he still went from hero to hero to hero, drawing attention. So I think one did a really good job of balancing the importance of the other storylines that were leading into the main one, into the main actual, like, attack the Monster Association storyline, while still giving the same amount of importance or build up to Garou, to the point to where he intertwined with the arc and it ended up the resolution of it. It was masterful.
You mentioned a good way to like make Empty Void like seem more intimidating or significant is to like give him a kind of deep seeking treatment where he kind of like runs a gauntlet between like a bunch of people. Is that where you're going with that?
Yeah.
I think a problem I had with the fight is that like I think Flashy and Sonic were doing too well against him. Like the fact that they were doing too well, it's like it's a good showing of their strength, but it's also like it makes it feel like Empty Void isn't in like they're within the same realm of power as
Yes.
Empty Void, right?
100%.
They're like able to affect him to some degree.
Yeah. No, I got that same sense. That's kind of what I'm talking about. That like the fact that I mentioned that I think that we're almost getting a sense that Flashy may be able to resolve or if not stall this guy, and it shouldn't be that way.
Did you read the latest chapter?
I had not yet. We're gonna react into it in conjunction with the podcast in the next chapter.
I bet. But yeah, it's like I feel like he should have dominated them harder than like what was shown, because even in like the last chapter, I think it's the last chapter, Flashy and he were going back and forth in like this crazy like almost constellation-esque like double spread. Like they were going back and forth. It seemed, at least For a
You
time, it
know you
seemed
can't
pretty
spoil
even.
me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Talking about last chapter.
Yeah, I'm not caught up.
Oh, my fault. I'll be more careful then. But yeah, it's like I get what you mean. It's like he needs a more dominant display than what he got because he doesn't feel as big of a deal as he was hyped up to be, right?
Even homeless, like maybe it was like because homeless didn't get a crazily. Well, no, don't get me wrong. He was overwhelming for sure. He was definitely overwhelming Zombie Man in his display, and it was badass. But that was the whole point. It was more so like the aesthetic of the fight, the mystery, what was going on, the display, the type of power that it was. Like where are the bombs? Where is the explosions? Like every single individual that we've seen so far that's been imbued with the power of God has had big blasts, has had big cannons, has had destructive capabilities increased dramatically. Sairochi, homeless emperor himself, Garou, like as Psychos mentioned that like the power or the nuclear fist, the fusion fist and his attacks or whatever, like that's infused with the same power that she was using. Like that's what that is. So where is that from Void? Like, why is it so like ninja like and conventional? Like, it's I don't know. It's for sure alluding to that to the fact that like he's not putting everything into it, or we haven't seen everything that he has so far. He may even be like taking it easy for a particular reason, maybe because Sonic and or most likely or mostly only Flashy has potential. Still though, like
It, yeah, like it seems like he has like almost an inch, or maybe it's God telling him what to do because he's clearly like influenced by God. So it's possible he's working with God, and that's kind of alluded to with more with like, and I'm pretty sure you read this part because I'm watching like going back to the podcast, like how he pulled the cube out of his mouth,
yeah,
and like the inside of his mouth was like kind of like what like Cosmic Garou looked like. So he clearly
yeah,
is like God to like a very heavy degree.
yeah.
For some reason, God is like he's interested in getting like Flashy Flash on his side.
It's it's clearly about the power thing. It's clearly that Flash is competent enough to be imbued by it. If you can give power to like a guy like Homeless, and there's something about Flashy that for sure is there. But you would think that like the sense of justice that Flashy has, it wouldn't even be considerable. Like Tatsumaki, maybe you could see something, but even hers, like I would have questioned it. Maybe that's God's failure. He has a bad sense of like somebody's like determination to for good.
Hold on. Kind of related to this, like based on like Empty Void's display and like how significant he feels. I wonder if that's a reason, or if that's part of the reason why like One and Marauder are gonna be like revising these past 7 chapters because like if they're revising them, clearly they don't feel satisfied with what they put out, like of like what we've seen so far. So maybe they're gonna enhance like his presence in these like revised chapters.
Okay, yeah. Because I saw that was like dropped like a few days ago, um, but I was waiting a few more days to see if like any translation corrections were going on. So what is it exactly like the last 7 chapters? What happened in the last 7 chapters? Like what's like the exact
Basically,
starting point of where the first chapter is going
the
to be wrapped
exact
up?
start point is like when when like Blast and Flashy Flash are talking about Empty Void, and then Flashy goes to meet Sonic to fight, and the chapter ends with like the place where dreams end.
Yeah.
That is the chapter from which they are revising. Like from that point on, they are revising all the chapters.
Okay. So the entirety of the flashy, basically the resolution of this whole ninja situation, basically.
Pretty much like Flashy versus Sonic, the Heavenly Ninja Party stuff, Empty Void versus Flashy and Sonic. They're revising all of that.
Okay. It's gonna be interesting to see how this
Presumably,
goes because the last set of revisions was not like the initial like Phoenix one. You remember how like Phoenix Man got 2 sets of revisions, right?
yeah, there was like, yeah, I know what you mean. There's like the first set. There was like the original version, and then there was like another revision with that. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, there was the original that was released. Then there was a revision that was like badassery, the one that we all like hype up or whatever. And then it was changed again, finally, to make to add like more childlike capabilities to Brave Giant, like jump roping
Yeah,
and stuff like that,
yeah.
and to change Child Emperor as a character in general. That's the
And
current
then the
current
other,
state.
and then the other big revision was like, of course, Saitama versus Orochi.
Exactly. Or he got like the whole scorpion aspect in where it was resolved by him like swimming and all that. A much different resolution than the one we originally got where Orochi morphs into like a humanoid form and then like it was much more badass. Once again, the original chapter 108 Orochi reveal. Go watch that reaction if you want. That original release was exceptional, great, but it got retconned to something that was I don't know. I didn't necessarily like. I didn't receive it better. So that's kind of what I'm getting at now. That like, what type of revision are we really gonna see here? Like, is it gonna be like the type of revision that's like the first set, or are we gonna get more story based revision? Something that's like to make Flashy seem more human like or redeemable, or like to build his character more. Something shonen esque, damn near. Like it's
From my understanding, at least based on what's implied by like what was translated, it seems like it's going to be a more like overall revision. It's like not just art, but also like changing plot elements. At least like from what I can glean based on what's implied, like based on what they said. It's like I think it's going to be like a more like total revision.
I get that, but I'm saying like it's like what do you perceive is going to be like the feel or like what is leaning towards? Is it going to be more like less fighting? Is it going to be more childish, more gaggish, or are we going to get like the badassery again?
I hope it becomes like darker because like the last chapter you read, like Empty Void was like using psychological tactics against like Flashy and Sonic, right?
That's right.
I hope
Yeah,
we see
yeah.
more.
He came through,
I
and they
hope it
thought they were like
gets
eating
really dark.
everybody.
Yeah, I hope it gets like really dark with that. Like, I hope we get some dark psychological stuff with Flashy and Sonic and like the Empty Void.
What
Like, it's
if
less of a physical fight and more
wouldn't it
like a mental
suck
fight.
if if they're retconning to remove that?
Uh, yeah, it would suck, and it's honestly possible, like they've done it with like the Focused Atomic Slash with
Yeah,
Brave Giant with Phoenix and with Orochi
yeah.
that they've done it like they've removed abilities from characters plenty of times before this.
That would fucking bro. That would suck so badly. Uh, but
Also,
we'll see because I don't. You don't even know what's really going on with this with the author, like because obviously Murata's working on this like studio, right? But we don't know how much of that and how much time that endeavor is taking from him. Like, how much time is it taking from what he was previously giving to the manga before? Like, has it changed at all? Like, are we just hearing about it because in his personal time now he's taking on a different endeavor? Like, I don't know.
yeah, he also recently volume third. Hold on.
That's really what I want to know. If anybody in the chat or in Discord wants to clarify that, like, what is Murata or a mangaka's like first priority usually? Is it usually the manga that they're currently drawing? Like, because they can draw multiple mangas, and like they'll put one in the back burner or something like that. Like, so how does that work? Like, most
The
often
thing
in the
with
industry.
Wada, for like the past couple months, he's been juggling projects like repeatedly. Like he made like this short animated series. He made like a one shot for a manga he used to write. He drew like a Dragon Ball tribute. Like if like a few months ago as well. And just recently, he released volume 30 of One Punch Man. So
Okay, so he's shit's going on. Okay,
yeah. Have you seen the cover for that, by the way?
yeah, I did. It was badass.
It's fire. I'm wondering what redraws we'll get in that as well. Like I'm really curious.
Shit, I don't know. Well, fuck, it's. Speaking of that Dragon Ball redraw, Toriyama passed away. What was it yesterday?
Yeah, yesterday or like 2 days ago, I think.
That's crazy, bro.
I'm still processing that. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, bro. That's
Like he literally like basically invented the shonen tropes that One Punch Man could like parody. Like he paved the way for the big three for. Oh yeah,
who's
he
this, a
just like
bot?
paved. No, it's a friend I invited. That's chill.
Okay.
He's been in the server before, so
Can you tag Tatu and Yang?
yeah, sure, I'll tag him. But yeah, he basically like invented the tropes that like started the big three that One Punch Man parodied. He basically made them.
All from Dragon Ball Z. It's the first. It's the first big one. It's not even considered one of the big three. It's like the father, like you just mentioned, the father of all of it. Like it's, and it's gone now. I don't. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that like I was following the current iterations of Dragon Ball already, and I don't know how involved he was in in the different projects that were coming out. Like how involved he was in Super or like in the remake that's coming out, Daima, I believe it is. Um, like I don't know how involved he was, but like just to think that no future iteration of Dragon Ball Z will be from the original creator, the guy who first spawned it from his mind, who first crafted this world. It's now going to be foreign manipulated or foreignly expanded upon by people who we don't even know like what their true motive or incentive is. Like it's not like maybe here in the United States with like generous enough donors, you could probably fund some type of passion project. It's not common, don't get me wrong, but like you could probably fund some type of passion project to like get some type of work done or have some type of source extended. Maybe not for a manga or something like that could get done. Case in point, an extreme example is like the whole Snyder cut, right? Where the company made, whether it was like market manipulating or like whether they actually got persuaded to release that cut of the film to make profit from it or whatever, but they requested that. Like the fandom pushed for that and it came out to be. So it's it's different when the creator himself gets spurred by the fandom to continue his work. Now we are not there's no chance of that anymore. Now it has to be like a passion project of us, our generation, the original, the people who were originally inspired by Dragon Ball themselves to like try and push it forward. And it's already been done to a certain extent. Like the mangakas that we see now, the great ones, like we just mentioned, they were inspired by him. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about like if you could or if you had to, is there a mangaka who you would allow to like continue the story of Dragon Ball Z or of Dragon Ball? Like the next iteration is canon. Like it's gonna continue as if it's like part three, part four of Dragon Ball. Like
It's just flat out no, honestly. Like I like I'm not even really a fan of how like Toyotaro is like kind of running them like partially running the manga because like he was drawing it and like Toriyama was giving like cliff notes and like Toyotaro would like extrapolate from those notes based on what Toriyama gave them, and I'm not really a fan of the direction Toyotaro took, and that Toyotaro, it was handpicked by Toriyama, and if I'm not a fan of him, I honestly like just don't really trust anyone to like continue Dragon Ball. I would want it to be written by Toriyama, but it obviously can't be written by Toriyama anymore.
was it what type
So
of
I
relationship was it? Was it like Murata and ones where like one is clearly drawing, but the other one to a certain extent is controlling the story in its entirety, or
pretty.
like
It was kind of like that, but like but what happened? Basically, Toriyama would give like Toei and Toyotaro notes, like very rough like story beats, and they would extrapolate from that like at their own leisure. Like let's say like there's like a note that says like Goku beats Frieza. Toyotaro could theoretically decide how Goku beats Frieza,
oh
but he just needs to happen. Like
okay. I mean that's
they,
kind of what I assume that like one and Murata have as a relationship.
um, it's similar, but one actually like straight up draws storyboards for Murata. We actually saw some leaked storyboards of like of chapter 84, like the EC fight, which I can post if you want. they're in one style, but like they're obviously not like the webcomic. They're just like storyboards for the manga.
Yeah, you do read the webcomic. So it's not just the webcomic that he's going off of. He's drawing storyboards for the manga too.
Yeah, he's drawing like unique storyboards for the manga from Murata Follow.
That's fucking wet, bro. That's even more like. That's even more like. That's just like him drawing a sketch and then giving it to you. Be like, hey, yo, make this look raw, bro. Like, make this shit look good as fuck, dog. Bro. What is like, man. That goes to show you that this is like, this has to be one's like Mustang. Like, one of his greatest works in the entirety of his life has to be One Punch Man, because it's not as if it's not even as if he's relying on his own like artistic capabilities or his advancements that he's obviously going to go throughout his entirety of his career. He's like, it's like investing into a warship that you know you're going to be the captain of in the future. Like, once you finish your military career, or like get to a certain point in your military career, or whatever, you're going to be captaining that warship. So it's like being an investor and investing in like making that warship the best it possibly can along the way, bro. And that's what he's doing with his ideas. It's, as a mangaka, from beginning to the end of his career, or whatever, or whenever he passes away, because as many shown through example, they keep working until they die or whatever. Like, one will continue to grow and get better, and One Punch Man, if it continues to be serialized for that long, will also continue to be good based on Murata's capabilities. It's up to a certain point to where like maybe one can draw as good as Murata, and like I don't think that time will ever come. It's just a different style. Then maybe we may see like One Punch Man end, or like I don't know, maybe like he'll lose all like interest in it. Or...
There's an example of what like one storyboards and then Murata like following them. It's like Orochi stabbing through Garou's stomach, and like Murata followed that and obviously made it like a lot better. So there's an example.
I don't know, but it sucks that this guy's dead. This guy was like really important to the community or whatever. It's funny because you hear about other mangaka deaths and like the strenuous like situations that these guys put themselves through to produce these works, not only in the manga industry but like in the anime industry too, like the different animators or whatever. And you appreciate it to a certain extent, but like when they pass away or when you hear about tragic things, it's really just what, like local outrage, or like, you know, something that you hear about in the news for a little while and it goes away. This is one of the few times where this figure, who was not involved in my life, was not affecting my life for the most part currently, him passing away is that memorable. It's that nostalgic. Like, I remember...
It's like Stan Lee, basically. We get Stan Lee passing away.
More. It's more than that. Like, I liked the comics. Like, I watched them and knew about them, like, as I was growing up. But, like, it was really Marvel itself, the MCU, that really helped communicate, like, how great these comics were. Like, Spike Lee, sure, he was the progenitor of these comics or whatever, but, like, it was bringing them to the movies that, like, really blew it up. Like, I really only fucked with, like, what, Batman, Superman, Green Lantern. Like, I didn't know who Iron Man was. Like, I didn't know who Iron Man was at all. But now I fuck with Iron Man almost as much, if not more, than like Batman. Like, I think that has to go with like the display of like Kevin Feige, or the work of Kevin Feige and the boys and the MCU itself. But like with Dragon Ball Z, the movies blow. Like, the movies blow, bro. There's nobody you can really give credit to. The anime itself came directly. It's a direct adaptation of the manga. Like, it's the exact thing. Like, that's all Toriyama. And I don't even watch that shit, bro. I do not watch Dragon Ball Super, none of that. I have not watched or cared since Dragon Ball Z. GT a little bit or whatever, but like, nah, bro. The movies and all that, I've watched some of them because it's badass animation, but like, I haven't cared. And to have this motherfucker die, bro, and I'm at work just like tearing up, bro. Like, what?
Bro, I found out like 30 minutes after like the news came out, and I legit like teared up on the spot. Like, it doesn't feel real. Like,
Mr. Shattered.
Oh, he's muted right now. I hope he can speak, but like he said, he'd be muted right now.
Oh, okay.
He's been in the server before though. Just
You already tagged Yang and Tatu, right?
I did, yeah.
Okay, but all right. So solo leveling. You are you watching the anime yet?
Uh, nah, not yet. But like, I've read some of the manhwa,
Okay.
a bit of it, like the first few chapters.
Well, if you decide to watch it, well, I'm going to talk about it. I'm not sure if you care about getting spoiled.
That's fine. Go ahead. I don't mind. So.
But man, it's doing great. It's doing great. The animation's like acceptable, good enough, like great, good, cool. It's it's not something that like I don't know, when you're watching multiple shows and you see some of the animation out there, it doesn't it removes the excuse for other studios. Like I was watching I saw a trailer for Metallica Rogue, another anime that came out there. I've never seen it before. I'm not too interested in it because it's mostly like a female cast and all that. Like I think it's tailored for females or whatever. But the animation, bro, in those suits was badass. Just in the first few episodes, I think it's like the first 6 episodes. I didn't get a chance to actually watch them. I was just like scanning through them to get to the actual point where they're fighting or whatever. And there's some badass animation in there, bro. Like real badassery, bro. Like I got similar like Attack on Titan, Eren Yeager in the forest type vibes, but just like with those battle suits on. Like in the forest, whenever like they were first transporting him and he was a scout, and he popped into the form and then fought the female titan or whatever, shit like that. But you had all the other scouts flying around them like pulling that badass shit, trying to basically like kill that titan, and she was that skilled. That's why it was so like an intensive of a situation because it was the first time it happened. That's kind of the feels and the vibes that I got from Metallica Rogue, and like the animation was crazy good. Go and look at Jujutsu Kaisen. At the very least, or what I'm talking about in particular is the fight with Mahoraga and Sekuna. Like, best fight of the year. Best fight in the past 2 years. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
like I'm having to compare that to like the best fights. I'm sitting here recording and editing, trying to put full fight videos together for the Patreon or whatever. And I'm like, yo, bro, like out of all the fights that I'm seeing, even from like the past 10 years, bro, like back in like 2008, 2009, bro, like you have to go to the best sources to find fights that are comparing to this Sequina versus Mahoraga fight, bro. I'm like, you have to go to the movie Sword of the Stranger. I don't know if you ever saw that. One of the best sword fighting movies that's out there, bro. Came out, I think, in like 2012 or whatever. Still, you're not gonna find sword fights that are out there better than that, bro. And the Mahoraga fights, fucking clapping that shit, bro. You got the new Fog Hill fights from that anime Fog Hill or whatever. Crazy animation from Korea or whatever. The Mahoraga fight's comparable to that. Like, it removes the excuse for any other of these animes for the animation that they're putting out there. Like, One Punch Man Season 2 is not okay. Solo Leveling is the example. I know we kind of went like into a big circle, but like I'm kind of trying to touch on the fact that like not only have I always and have we always known and had good examples of great animation, but you can't get away with saying this is acceptable or okay when we have current day competing examples of superior animation. Like, Season 3 for One Punch Man is in turmoil once again. Maybe
Yeah.
not because of the examples that we've gotten, because we haven't really gotten that many clips, but just the track record that it's had, bro.
Like JC staff is animating it. Like there's a lot of like uncertainty with One Punch Man season 3 that I'm like it's not like season 3 is like it's not like season 2 where like it was like relatively like there were a few like big scale fights, but for the most part season 2 wasn't like too bad to animate even compared to season 1. Season 3 is going to have like the monster, like the heroes rating the Monster Association, Evil Eye, Garou versus Orochi, Garou versus Rover, uh, like all that stuff. Like it's gonna be like a very hefty thing to animate.
You think
And yeah.
what was the new guy speaking? Oh no, not yet. Um,
Uh,
you think why was I under the impression that the guys who were animating the Jujutsu Kaisen season 3 were the ones who were animating season 3 of One Punch Man? Was that true at a certain point?
uh, There were like it was never like outright confirmed. We didn't know for like certain who was animating season 3, but like
Because
a
they had a
hint.
bunch of projects, wasn't it? Like that. What's the name of that company?
Um, which Mappa.
Yeah, Mappa was famous or was like in the news for like having a bunch of different properties they were going to be like working on in the near future, in the next 2 and 3 years. And I thought One Punch Man season 3 was one of them.
Um, it was never like confirmed, but like the one like implication I remember is that like apparently Murata followed Mappa's Twitter account and then unfollowed it soon after. So like that was like an implication
Oh
as to like maybe,
wow!
yeah, but
What
like it
is
wasn't.
what exactly
It was.
did you get from that?
I think it was from Reddit or what. This was like back when like season 2 was like first announced, so like it was a while ago. So I don't remember exactly. I do remember it happened, but I don't remember exactly where I heard it from. I think it was on Reddit.
We'll see. I don't want to, and I don't like think or feel that it's like out of the question. Like it's definitely a thing that's like plausible, possible. Like it could be good. Don't want to discount it ahead of time. But man, do I have no faith at all.
I'm like cautious. I'm like very cautious this time around. I'm not like I don't want to get ahead of myself, get super excited, raise my expectations like super high, and then just be disappointed. I'm keeping my expectations like pretty low because like I know like the likelihood. I'm more like how like what JC staff animating One Punch Man again could like mean, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm keeping my expectations low. I'm just like I really hope anything else like the Garou scenes are done justice because like Garou versus Orochi is literally like a top 5 fight in the series.
Oh,
So
that's for sure gonna be in the season, right?
yeah,
That means that it's gonna. That means the season's gonna finish off with Rover versus Garou versus Rover, and then Garou versus Giro, and then Garou versus Orochi.
it might go beyond that because like from the teaser, like I'd imagine they'd get to like that point within like the first couple of episodes.
What, nigga?
Well, yeah, because
Stop,
like
bro.
the point at which season 2 ended off was like chapter like 84, like
No,
when
listen,
AC.
bro. The nigga. What? When does he wakes up? Right? Does he go to the association immediately when he wakes up? Like he wakes up and then goes, or like what? Does he eat the monster there or some shit like that first, or like?
He wakes up in the monster station base, talks to like Giro and Orochi and stuff, and they say, "Hey, you should get the head of the head of a
No, no, that's
hero."
not what I'm talking about, nigga. That's not what I'm talking about. Because that's when he gets jumped. I'm talking about after he wakes up from getting jumped. Does he immediately go to go kill Royal Ripper or whatever to go get Toddy or whatever or like
Immediately after.
okay yeah okay all right. Then it would depend on when we first see Goro, because the last part of season 2 doesn't it end with the defeat of EC?
Yeah,
But I mean like the exact last moment, like
let me check.
yeah,
I'll-
because we know the translation or the transition chapters were pretty much like spot on. They didn't like remove that many things, or you needed them to transition almost.
I'll check real quick.
I don't know. I'm optimistic for it. Um, I I really want it to be good. And don't get me wrong, there were some acceptable moments in season 2, but this is One Punch Man we're talking about, and I get that season one was like a miracle project that like it's hard to have something like that come around. But like I just pointed out, we've gotten that thing animation out there before. Like it's been done multiple times, bro. Like what are we pretending about?
Okay, so the exact stopping point is literally like the end of chapter 84 when like Saitama's walking away and Genos is watching him.
Okay, from blowing up EC.
Mm-hmm.
Got you. Okay. Yeah, so it does make sense that like the intensity would drop off here for a little bit, and then we would see him like waking up from the base and all that. Okay, so yeah, we probably would get a Garou storyline in the first episode. Because what's going on aside from that? Is it the Hero Association consolidating? No, I think Zombie Man goes to see.
Dr. Genus.
Yeah.
It's also like them planning the raid because like the man's son, like what's his name?
Waganma?
Waganma, yeah. Waganma's like abducted.
Okay, so yeah, it's gonna be them planning them raid amongst the executives or whatever. Okay. Huh. I make shit, bro. It makes you want to reread the entirety of the arc, bro. Just from that starting point to the end, bro. It's so good, bro. That is at least in my memory, bro. It's so good, bro.
Worth the reread.
Cause like I followed One Piece for quite a while, but like, and I made it through multiple different arcs in One Piece, like following it along or reacting to it from like Dressrosa. Like I think that's when I started reacting. I'm not too sure, but yeah, it was around Dressrosa when Dressrosa was coming out, whatever. So like, no, Zoe. That's what it was. It was Zoe. When Zoe was coming out, that's when I started reacting. So I don't know. It's just so iconic, bro. Like from seeing all the different heroes coming together, bro, in the meeting, bro, and then they all together blitz what the entrance of the hideout's supposed to be. All they did, they break up into the different like corridors to fight the different like challenges they encounter. They get their asses clapped for the most part. They end up on the surface, bro, as Tatsumaki's blowing shit up because she's having to fight some fucking like destructive monster that Saitama had like fucked over in the middle of the occasion. And then the man, the redraws. Boy, were the redraws so deflating, bro. Because at a certain point, all the redraws were fire, bro. All the redraws were fire, bro. Yeah, we lost the Focus Atomic Slash, bro. Yeah, we lost that. But no, never mind. That was the start of the bad redraws. That was the start of the bad redraws. Fuck, bro.
Yeah. Like the redraws in like 2020 and like 2021 that or actually it was just 2020. Yeah, that was horrible.
Are you reading One Piece?
It was like during the Sairochi fight as well.
Yup. Oh man, I remember that part too. That's the tough part. The Sairochi shit was fucking long, and we wanted that shit to end, bro. We wanted that shit to fucking end.
Jesus Christ.
But have you reading One Piece? One Piece, excuse me.
One Piece?
Yeah.
No, I ain't reading that shit.
Gotcha. I'm about to hop on that for a second if you don't.
No, you got it. Go ahead.
Yeah. So it looks like Luffy's what we've all been talking about for a long time. Like, and it's weird because this almost seems like. And I've seen a few people's videos where they're discussing like how strong is Luffy really? Is it really Admiral level? Like, what does this really mean?
Like in Gear 5?
Yeah, because his current display right now, he's fighting up against, well, one of the what we believe to be an endgame character, like a legit end of series villain. He's fighting up against
Kaiju?
one of them. No, he's past a villain like that. He's already defeated a villain like that. These are like legitimate, like the last chapter type villains he's fighting. Like these guys are like the root cause of all the evil in the world. He's encountering them now, and now they've actually all come to the same place to fight Luffy in this state where he's in Gear 5. So we're gonna see what's gonna happen here, because obviously, it's, to me, in my personal opinion, it's a setup to where we're gonna see that they're all gonna see what his power is, or we're gonna get a chance to see a lot of their power. But he's obviously gonna make an escape. It's gonna be like to set up a grudge or some crazy type of like implication of future story resolution that's required for Luffy up against them. Maybe they take something from Luffy. Maybe they kill one of his crew members. I don't know, but they're gonna do something that makes Luffy hate them for the end of the storyline. That's the only thing that can happen here, because they can't kill Luffy, and Luffy can't kill them. Like, this can't be the end of their part in the story. They've barely been like revealed or had their like, I don't know, because they were kind of involved with the whole like, they've been around for a long time. That's what I'm saying. But like, if this is their first time to really be revealed in the story, kind of like Vegapunk has, and they get killed in the very first arc, like, for real, bro? You've been in the story the entirety of the time, and you get clapped right away? Like, Vegapunk is even more understandable because we've only heard about him. Like, we saw the Gorosei. We've been seeing the Gorosei for a long-ass time. We've known what they've been doing for a long-ass time. But Vegapunk, bro? No, bro.
Mhm.
So I'm like, is this Luffy's like end game power? Like, are the next transformations of power ups just gonna be amplifications of this state where he like just improves in using this particular state? Is this the last transformation of power up? Is not only am I not anticipating a Gear 6, but like, is Gear 5 gonna have to power up, bro?
I feel like Gear 5, he can amplify Gear 4 in certain ways, right? Like before Gear 5, he could do that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like from what I remember, I feel like that's what would happen with Gear 5, because Gear 5 does feel like a very like end game transformation for Luffy.
Yeah, bro. It's like, I don't know, cause I don't want like, how should I phrase this, bro? I don't want to like I don't want to like sound like a hater. I don't want the story to end. And what I've been hyping or preaching for a long time is that the admirals are as strong, if not stronger, than the Yonkou. And I think there's been evidence of that throughout the entirety of the story. But this display here is kind of troubling, because we have an admiral here, one of the admirals who actually may be the strongest or one of the strongest. Oddly enough, he's very, very competent and powerful, or his abilities make him like an aggressive fighter, or very, very difficult to deal with, as it were. But the only saving grace that he's had in this arc so far is that it seems as if he's very, very emotionally involved with what's going on here. That like, not only is he clearly being affected during the fight, but like, is it affecting his motives? Like in the most recent chapter, he stabbed Vegapunk. Like the guy who he's been friends with for a very long time. We're talking like multiple decades. He ends up being ordered to kill this guy, and then he actually does it. And we see like how troubled he is while having to go through with it. But like, is that what's like letting like Luffy do this to you? Is that why you're getting thrown around like this? Like don't get me wrong, this is a casual guy. Like, like if anybody's casual while they're fighting and hasn't been putting out their like full capabilities, it's been Kizaru. But like, still though, bro, are you? Even in contrast to like the Gorosei, it's like he's hyping up, or Luffy's talking about how troublesome the Gorosei is. Like, not Kizaru. I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. What's up, Kenny? What's up, Piazza? What's up, Marshall? What's up, Mike? Yeah, hop on front, Kenny. What else did we put in the title we're gonna talk about? Oh yeah, Kaiju number 8. Okay. Oh yeah, what's up, bro? No, I saw you unmute, nigga. Yeah.
Yeah, what's up, what's up?
That's good, bro.
What's
Yo,
up,
Kaiju
Ricky?
rate his peak, by the way. Kaiju rate his peak.
Hey. Matter of fact, I never talked to you before. It was good, nigga.
It was good, it was good.
What do you read?
A lot of to be honest. But,
One Punch?
yeah, I've read that like 4 times.
Hey, my boy. All right, Atomic versus Flashy.
Oh, wait, but like both of them in like base or like,
And manga only.
okay. No Sunblade or Sunblade?
Doesn't matter. Strongest possible
Okay.
characters for him.
I think Sunblade is relative, but I think like in base right now, Flash got better feats.
After four rereads unbiasedly, why you say that, bro?
Why do I say that?
Have
Just
you read the
because
webcomic?
like, nah.
Okay, bet.
Yeah.
I can
I know
yeah.
Yeah, I know in the webcomic it's way different. Like the Flashy and Darkshine got some different levels of stuff going on up there. But in terms of just the manga, it's kind of like I will give Atomic one thing that I always bring up is Atomic gets downplayed because he specifically gets nerfed by plot a lot. He specifically only went against people that directly countered like his main form of attack, that being like Black S and like even Natural Water and characters like that, and Vomited. So he really the only opponents he ever got to go up against were
And
opponents that
Melzigard.
directly. And Melzigard. So it's like the only characters he gets to go up against are characters that specifically counter him or like characters that he can't put down. So he really doesn't get much until he gets the Sunblade, just because he's getting plot nerfed. But on that same pedestal, other characters like Flashy also have to get plot nerfed. Like he has to lose his sword to the spear. So it's hard for me to say that like
Lose his sword to the spear.
yeah, to Tatsumaki's spear. When Tatsumaki lifted up the spear, his sword broke.
Oh, that's a bro. I guess you want to call that a nerf too, bro. He also got disarmed in the Flashy fight versus the two Ninja Bros.
Yeah. Yeah, he got disarmed, and then he like, he used that to his advantage because he has like better IQ than them. But like the way that they were able to like kind of tank all of his kicks and then like get sliced in half like as soon as he uses his sword, it does imply like a pretty big difference. So I think that like Sunblade, albeit more is a lot more close for me, because the degree to which like Golden kind of expresses how strong Atomic is with the Sunblade, he's literally like he says that his power is so great that it must come with some form of like sacrifice. Whereas like when he's fighting Flashy, you could say that he's more like saying that he's a lot weaker than himself.
Sacrifice.
So you could argue, yeah, he's saying that like there must be a drawback to Atomic.
Nah, he ain't saying no drawback. He said this power has a different source. Like he was like, this power is not yours.
Yeah. No, but he thinks it's like monsterization at first, but when he's like walking towards Atomic, he says something like such great power must come with like, yeah, I'll see what it actually says.
Okay. Yeah, because he was already on his knee. No, what? Yeah, he was.
Yeah. It was like when Atomic was like already coughing up blood. So one thing you could say is that like Platt's power are the way he views power is a lot different from Gold, because like Platt thinks that like he thinks that like King, who he just like thought he had to team up against, is someone that he can just like pull up and like knock his head off now. So you could say like the difference in how he perceives power is pretty big because he's a lot stronger. But yeah, I think
like because this is the difficulty in what's going on here, because that point right there is, and please understand that I don't believe One Punch Man is a gag story, but that part right there is clearly a gag, because this character, who we have to trust his description or his declarations in terms of feature power, power levels for the characters, we have to trust that most often. He's clearly being bamboozled by the power levels of King, who we know confirmed has no capabilities. So that's the first time where you'd be like, okay, this is an example that we can't ignore because it's common. We commonly have all kinds of strong characters ignoring or not being able to truly grasp how strong King is, but we trust their statements for how strong somebody else is. But let's say that we do ignore the King one because it's such an anomaly, right? Doesn't don't Golden and Platinum, as you just pointed out, aren't they damn near two different people to the point to where like their evaluation of the two individuals that they've encountered wouldn't be correlated?
Well,
Or
like,
is that too far?
It's weird to say, right? Because when they because Platinum was built off of Golden. So if you want to say that the consciousness that takes precedence is the same consciousness, and that it's more so that because he's on such a higher you can apply like any arbitrary value you want, right? But because he would be like so much stronger, or at least in his perspective, he would seem so much stronger. He would kind of have an ideal of where he thinks King is, right? Because he thinks like King is the one that they're under the assumption that King is the one that kind of one shot Elder Centipede. He even says it himself. So if he has some gauge wherever he thinks how strong King is, he thinks King is strong enough that like Gold and Black S and like Evil Natural Water at the time and Homeless all need to jump him and they might be able to do something. Whereas like obviously he thinks he can kind of just knock him up. So it's not like he actually knows how strong King is, because if he did, then he would have just killed him from the beginning. But he does have an idea of where this theoretical like character is. So while King himself is like the gag, he is a gag himself. Like his perspective, like in the verse on where people think how strong he is, isn't actually does have some form of like it does have some foundation for how strong they
Hold
think
on,
he
bro.
is.
I've read One Punch Man more times than you have. Don't use that type of argument to try and disclaim what I'm saying. I'm talking about, in particular, the fact that he's pointing, and you just mentioned it. You pointed out that this character is going off of information that's been gathered. That was one of the big plot points in the arc itself. That like a lot of, we even in the beginning, in the part of the invasion, we had Child Emperor kill one of Giro's drones. She was using that to gather information from the capabilities the S-Class was portraying from their initial displays. Not to mention that they had already gone out and she was gathering information. So a lot of the arc was, and then who was it? Driver himself went to the extent of passing information about the monsters to Genos. So one is giving us, or putting a lot of emphasis on the fact that a lot of what's been going on has been set up through information, like literal data that's been collected and passed on. It's not necessarily based on the perceptiveness or what I would like from One Piece, like a hockey perceptiveness, where like because I'm that guy, or my pesquisa, as it's called in like Bleach, or I can sense your power level. It's not like that exactly. I'm not saying that in One Punch Man characters can't sense your power level. That's clearly the case. Portrayed with Boros, portrayed with all different kinds of people. That's clearly the case.
Yeah.
I'm saying that we have an example of this character going off of, or the examples that you gave were all data based, not sensing power level. So he can't sense King's power level. He's going off of data. Why do I have any reason to like accept what he's saying about like whatchamacallit, Atomic versus like Flashy Flash?
Okay. So the reason that it has like some form of significance is because when you think about it like this, right? If you've never seen like Mike Tyson box in your life before, but you have an idea of where he's at because he beat up somebody that you consider impressive, or like albeit very easily, and then you have an idea, you're like, okay, well, it would take me and 5 other people to stand a chance, right? That's where you think that's how strong you think he is, and then you get a lot stronger. In this case, obviously via a transformation, and now you think you can just immediately blitz that person and knock his head off. That means you think you could have done that to yourself in your previous state. Because if you think that one person was strong enough to take on people, take on yourself previous to this, and multiple others that you find to be on your same level, or like at least be useful in a fight against somebody of your level, and then you think you can just one shot that person and blitz them before they can even react, that would imply that you would have to be able to do that to yourself, because that person was either on par with or stronger than you. Because in Golden's perspective, King was strong enough that he could not beat King alone, and he would need to jump in with like Black S, Evil Natural Water, and Homeless. So he doesn't actually need to know exactly how strong he is, because we base it on his perspective for how strong he is, because he'd be going off of his basis. We know in his mind how strong he thinks he is, because he thinks he has to jump in. So it's not like. Go ahead.
The biggest red flag that came up with this argument so far is that that's kind of like saying that he thinks he can beat King now. Like, that he makes that like, he's kind of saying
that's
that Flash
exactly
is stronger
what he
than
thinks.
King.
Yeah. He thinks he can think. He doesn't think he can beat King.
That
I don't.
Flash is stronger than
I don't
King.
think. I don't think he thinks Flashy is stronger than King. I don't think that.
That's kind of
I
what
don't
you
think
said. You said that immediately from the
Well-
biggest contrast you pointed out was that from Golden to Platinum, Golden was petrified or knew that he couldn't beat King, so he decided to go into Platinum form, and Platinum was confident enough that he was like, "I'm about to beat you with one hit." So you're saying that the guy who he didn't say that to, the guy who he actually exchanged blows with, even though he beat him pretty quickly, Flashy Flash, why isn't he not? Isn't he less confident against Flashy Flash than he was against King?
No, I don't think he's any less confident than he was against King. I don't think. I don't even. He never really sweat. He got angry at Flashy Flash, but he was never really
He
unconfident.
just holds King in the higher regard is the thing. Like that's it.
I know. I'm just using this as an example to dispel or discredit his claim that the fact that Platinum was immediately ready to fight or go up against King versus while Golden was like doubting it. That's like such a claim of power that I'm trying to dispel that because he had less of a claim of power up against Flashy Flash. So it kind of makes it seem as if like his bravado or Platinum's bravado isn't necessarily based on completely strength. It's more so about like, as we talked about, the data that Platinum had about King.
Yeah, but the issue remains that like it's like there's not much of a difference from him being able to sense that he could one shot Elder Centipede or in him being able to know that information, right? Because
Agreed.
the whole point is it solely matters on his perspective because even when he pulls up on Flashy and Garou, he literally walks through them. Like he's fully confident in his ability to dispatch of both of them, especially Flashy.
Facts. It's kind of like whether you know he has a gun or not, you should act like he's got a gun. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying.
And then he thinks he's just so much better than like the guy that has this giant and in King's case it was just this giant beam apparently. And he thinks that he can just dodge the beam or dodge the bullet and then just kill the guy who shot the bullet. Like that's kind of like his perspective. And it doesn't mean that that's obviously necessarily true, right? Because what we know, if King's lore was actually put into his character, then obviously we know that he'd like beat up pretty much everybody. But they don't know everything about King. That's not something that they're aware of, right? So it's really just based on what they do know.
Okay, so we're at the point where we're talking about the credibility of like Golden versus Platinum's claims in contrast to Flashy Flash, right? Because my strongest argument for Atomic Samurai being stronger than Flashy Flash is that he moves his sword faster than Flashy Flash moves. That's my entire argument. That's why I think throughout the story it's been proven and shown like the feats that Flashy's shown in the Garou versus Platinum fight where he's flying around in a star formation. They're literally creating constellations because of how fast they're moving with their clashes while clashing or whatever. To me,
Yeah.
Atomic does that with every single interaction of his blade. He's moving his blade that fast, but in a smaller amount of distance. So that's why I'm like, okay, Flashy's gonna be having to go his full speed in order to come even close to what Atomic does casually. And then once he does that, Atomic just goes to his full power, and then theoretically, if they're both at full speed, full power, I think Atomic slashes faster than Flashy moves.
Okay. I will say that like regardless of like Atomic Slash, because I do think Atomic Slash is like absurdly fast, and we don't really know the upper limits of how fast Atomic Slash is because it's not like it's been intercepted, and I've said that before. So it's not like we know like exactly where it goes. Because I think the most impressive thing it's done is probably blitzing Vomited Ugly, which is a really good feat. But my issue with that, or even with the Constellation, it's arguable if Flashy or really any of them were going at that point in time.
They said
We're going.
He said it full speed.
Yeah. The problem is I don't think they were. It's very likely that they weren't moving at full speed, just due to the nature of the battle, right? Because the nature.
Shattered. Come on, bro.
Hold on, let me explain, right? Because if you're in a fight with two people, right? If you're in a one-on-one fight, then you can move as fast, as quickly as you want to, and with as free as movement as you want to, because you can keep track of one person at all times. Albeit there are factors like feints that are involved, but you can keep your full attention on one person. When you're fighting two people that you have no idea what they're going to do, whether they're going to jump you, whether one is going to take advantage of the other one's movements, you have to move slower to take into account and you have to move more cautiously to take into account that there is another being, and it's even more so in a battle that is three-dimensional. They can attack from above, below, the left, the right, and it's
You
not
can't
just
use that. You're 100% right. You're 100% right. But Murata and One have gone into that amount of detail, and they did not display that within the fight. They even went to the amount of detail of showing exactly what you're describing, where he's fighting up against one guy, and then the third or the second guy comes and sneaks Flashy or tries to sneak
yeah.
Platinum. Like that's what was happening. And the fact that he didn't display or say, "Hey, I have to slow down because I'm fighting more people," to me that means you can't use that. To me, it's, "Hey, this character said he's fighting at full speed at the beginning of the fight. That means until that changes, he's fighting at full speed, full power even."
I don't think Flashy said that, but
He
Hey,
never
dog,
said he
put
was
it up,
going.
bitch. No, put it up, dog.
I think the
Which
only time he ever says, I think the only time in the entire series he ever says maximum speed is against Blast.
Nah, he does it up against Saitama. He does it up against Blast.
Oh yes, I tell
And
him
he
as
does
well.
it
Yeah.
in this fight, bro. He gets mad as fuck, and then he goes full power, bro. He's like,
Oh yeah. No,
ah.
when he gets mad in this fight, he actually, that's like something that would imply like the same thing, like because he does by far the fastest thing he's ever done in the fight, and then Platinum calls him predictable and like flexes on him because
He's cheeks.
despite him moving fast as he possibly can, he also moved as predictably as he did, like as he possibly could the entire fight, and he got dismantled immediately after that. So that would imply that he probably wasn't moving as full speed before,
Okay,
or he was moving.
I'll give you that to a certain degree. That his anger could definitely indicate a difference in effort, or yeah, a difference in effort. Excuse me.
Yeah, I think it especially matters with a character like Flashy because the way that it's described is like he puts it like his pride like aside and puts it all on the line just to prove that he's faster because that's like he gets compared to Darkshine in that aspect.
Hold on, bro.
Um,
Hold on, Shattered. You're about to go into some flashy suck territory. Are you going to say? Are you trying to allude? Are you implying that Flashy could have done better or would have done better if he didn't yield to his pride?
no, not necessarily. He did do better once he put his pride aside, but he didn't do better. What he did was move faster, and he was able to output like his full capability. But then that blinded him, therefore causing him to lose the fight. Therefore causing him to lose at that very moment when he may have been able to hold on longer than that had he not done that, had he not been rash, but he did move faster in that moment. The difference being, like for example, yeah, exactly. More so with somebody like how Flashy is right now, where he's put his pride aside and he's able to fight as efficiently as he would normally. That's why he's seen as so much greater than he was before. Is because he's able to move at his full speed and he's able to grow in strength. He even says it himself by putting his pride aside. He's also able to fight with all of the skill that he had before.
That was the thing that the other ninjas mentioned. Like, they got upset in
Yeah.
the original Flashy fight. The two ninjas discarded their weapons and it resorted to their monsterification because of that. Because they got frustrated with it. So it's
They threw away their ninja techniques. They threw away everything that's a ninja
Yeah.
and just like
And they were able, yeah, and they were able to move a lot faster due to the fact that they weren't relying on them anymore. But the only thing with them is that, in contrast to Flashy, they aren't able to keep up with their own speed mentally.
yeah, that
So,
was the thing. But it's not, that wasn't a problem for Flashy, bro. That's kind of why I'm like, to me, the whole claim, and you haven't said you believe this yet, but I'm gonna ask you this, that
yeah,
Flashy is relative to either of them to at the time period is complete bullshit to me, because this wasn't a display of that. This was a display of Flashy clearly being humiliated throughout the entirety of the fight, not being able to truly match blows, not being able to truly keep up, and being outclassed. Emphasis in particular as to when they sped up once Flashy was put down. I don't think besides
yeah.
one time Flashy truly exchanged blows with Platinum, and it wasn't any other case for real with Garou. So that's why I'm like, this was a lightning max moment for Flashy. Do you guys get what I'm saying by that?
Yeah, like Deep Sea King kind of thing.
Yes, my nigga. Like, that's what this set up for Flashy Flash. And coincidentally, he got the start of the immediate next arc because he's leading the Search for God storyline. But like this is just him moving towards that, or we're seeing this S-class character, well, the growth of an S-class character in a similar type scenario. Like Lightning Max was training or had that as a goal and is moving towards the goal of like overcoming what was deep seeking, and he saw that in Suiryu.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's the same thing for Flashy Flash, or that's how I see that for.
Well, he does directly compare them. He directly compares the Heavenly Ninja Party to Plaid, actually. So the same way that like Sonic compares, like actually compares them on panel to Saitama, and says that they're small compared to him, which is actually kind of a direct parallel to what happened with Lightning Max and Deep Seeking and Suiryu, where there's a silhouette of the character that they think they're trying to reach in front of the character that they're fighting at that moment. And interestingly enough, like Max actually did get a lot stronger from the Deep Seeking arc to the tournament, because Suiryu says himself that Lightning Max's moves were better than Sneck's, and Sneck was also training. And Sneck, even in the Deep Seeking arc, could dodge that one blow from a Hydrate Seeking. So that doesn't imply that like Lightning Max is actually like way faster, way stronger than he was before, just via like Suiryu's own like statements.
Man, I'm looking forward to that. Bro. That's the type of growth that I want to see, bro. But nobody want to see some fucking like booty stuff about bro. I wanted to see some development of these side characters, bro. But back to the point we were talking about, right? About like the differences between, or why we're saying that I think Atomic's faster, and why you think you're saying that Flash is faster.
Yeah, I can give you. I won't. I'll give you an alternative perspective to how this fight is meant to be portrayed, because one thing that is shown even now is how big of a difference. Obviously, we know Flashy, and in the case of like, especially the ninjas, statements has gotten faster. There's a lot of feats that also show us that, but at least within the Monster Association arc, it's a little bit more vague. So the thing is with Platt is that Platt does show visual effort against Flashy. Like he has like veins popping out of his like tentacle head. He has like he's like gritting his teeth, and he makes statements like he's weakened without his weapon, right? So he implies that like the weapon would make a difference, which would imply that like Flashy would at least be able to hit him at some point. And then he also asks for Garou's help in dismantling Flashy, and takes multiple.
No, you're not gonna do that, bro. You're not gonna do that, bro. You're not gonna do that, bro.
He also. I'm just giving you a perspective, right? Because he also takes multiple opportunities set up by Garou parrying Flashy, and he takes those opportunities to try to get a free hit on Flashy. So it's consistent that like this whole time he's trying to get Flashy out of the way so he can have his 1v1 with Garou, and he can't seem to just blitz him and one-shot him and then have whatever he wants.
It's not because of him, it's because of the other guy. But I'm not, I will not tolerate this, bro. This is, you know what this is, Shattered, bro? This is a Flashy Suck Forces alternative viewpoint of what the fight was, bro. Like, some nigga that, like, be sucking on Flashy told you about this, bro.
Hey, I'm more of a Sonic guy myself, but I will say that, like, okay. I will say that, like, the reason I say that is because we have to think about it from the perspective of one of the main reasons that people like to bring up that like Platt was like at 1/100th of his power or whatever arbitrary number they like to give, is because like of the second constellation. My only one of my main gripes with that is the fact that if Platinum just wanted to fight Garou, why would he gradually and like by like section by section, like by individual percentages of the power get stronger or like unsuppress himself so that he could be as fast as Garou, but and then choose to lose the fight when he wanted to kill Garou? It doesn't make sense for him to continue to hold back against Garou.
Hold on. Reiterate what you just said in the last 15 seconds, but reiterate that one more time, bro. What?
So think about it like this, right? Obviously Flashy gets taken out of the fight, right? And then he goes to fight Garou. If Platinum was holding back to such a minuscule, tiny degree of his strength and was actually like 100 times stronger and faster than Flashy and Garou at the time, then it wouldn't really make sense, because when he goes to fight Garou, he loses that fight due to the fact that obviously Garou adapts and beats him up, whatever. But why would he progressively in small bits get faster and faster and start accelerating instead of just killing Garou like he was meant to do the entire time?
That's what happened. They dramatically increased in speed. It said like two times, just like, or like the constellations doubled. Like it wasn't close. They hopped up in speed.
No,
like
the thing is, it got denser and they accelerated, but you could provide different reasonings for that aren't him getting 100 times faster, that are a lot more consistent with like the statements made by Platt and the feats shown against Garou.
But the narrator himself said it was because they got faster.
He never said they got. No, he didn't say that. That's in like a translation. I don't even know what translation that's in because it's not in like Kubari, and I don't even think it's in Viz actually. But I'll look at it.
If you bring me a Viz translation, I'll let the translation slide because that's what's going to be in the volume. But 100%, not only was the translation say that, but it's clearly described, or you could take it from the depiction that they were clearly moving faster. The entire time, the entire reason for the constellation is because of their speed of movement. That's why. They were moving and crashing so fast that it looks like a constellation. So if it doubles and there's less people, it can actually only mean that they're moving faster because they didn't gain more mass.
Yeah, the issue comes with like, I mean, most of the time, I'm not saying that even, I would never say that like Flashy like jumps around or like his movement speed is the exact same as like those two. I think it's more so like a reaction and like combat thing, like how fast he can kick or how fast he can punch. That is more consistent. Because like obviously like Platinum straight up just like got blitzed. But let me find like the actual thing because it just says the expression of those three. Yeah, so the Kubari is the one that says I would have to get the raws, but I'm not gonna look at it. So the Kubari just doesn't say it at all. But the Viz says the two remaining streaks of light further increase. The only issue is you could explain it in like many ways that aren't just they got a lot faster, because it would be really weird for Platinum to purposefully lose the fight. It would also be very weird of him to ask for help against somebody and express like that a weapon makes a difference, because if he was that much faster, he wouldn't really care if the weapon made it. Like the weapon makes no difference, nor would he need any like assistance, nor would he take advantage.
You are not bullshitting this argument. You move on to the next point if you don't think it's strong enough. I fuck with you. You mentioned all of that, those 3 points in particular, 100%, and those are things that happen in the fight for sure that are odd points. He did indeed ask for help, and he did indeed get they got faster. They got faster, oddly enough, for sure. Okay. Him asking for help had nothing to do with the fighting capabilities. In my personal opinion, that should only be interpreted as the plot of what was going on. The entirety of the time, there was something about trying to get Garou on his side, but at the same time, he was trying to kill Garou. This guy was
he said he wanted to kill him from the beginning because he didn't want to be part of the association.
Exactly, bro. Like this guy was fucking with. He's a psycho. That's why like, and it's not a strong enough argument for me to like dispel it. That's why I'm like, I've never necessarily felt that. I've always left that out to be an odd point. Like I agree, the fact that he's out there calling for saying like, hey, we should team up on Flashy. It's like, hey yo, why are you saying that? But the fact that it's so odd to me, it can only mean that he's saying that to fuck with Garou. Like it's not something about like, hey, he wants to team up with him.
He doesn't know that. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, well, the perspective is like this is all under like and this isn't necessarily me saying it's like wrong of people to think this, right? But this is all because like obviously the community itself has gone under the assumption for so long, and the idea that like they just got like a metric ton faster, that it's a perspective that is like harder to see when you start looking at it. But there are many factors like I previously obviously mentioned, with like the fact that they are fighting multiple people, and they are like having to go through these different literal like third dimensional battles because of this rubble. Like they can go from top to bottom to virtually anywhere they want. And even like in the perspective of people that like to say that, oh, Flashy couldn't keep up with Platinum or something, right? Or like Flashy didn't like hit Platinum. Obviously he did, but like Garou himself is also shows impressive feats against Platinum even at that point. And in terms of like sheer combat speed, it's not like Platinum was like unaffected by Flashy, because he even has to
Yes,
put
he
up
was.
platinum ring. He even had to put up platinum rings to defend against
Okay,
Flashy. in the first
unaffected.
place.
If you're incorporating having to respond to him, because we've seen plenty
Yeah.
in adaptations, or excuse me, we've seen plenty of depictions in anime where characters don't even respond to somebody's attacks because it's that insignificant. Sure, he was affected by it, but it was not as if it was so significant to where. No, let me not even disrespect it, bro. We're being like straight up here. We're having a real conversation. Yes, Platinum had to respond to Flashy 100%. But so, bro, he used an attack and he was talking shit throughout the entirety of the exchange, bro. I also
Oh yeah.
I also didn't agree with how you what was the first continue. I'll remember what you were saying earlier what I want to respond to. Go ahead.
Yeah. So from that perspective, it's more like you have to make it more coherent with the narrative, or like more coherent with like the visual feats that we see happening, which I think that's why it's a little bit more consistent than saying like it would affect like they would affect anybody else mentally. Like Garou doesn't care if like, because even after he makes the statement that like, hey Garou, we should like team up and like get him because he doesn't have his sword, like that's a contributing factor to like them beating Flashy. He, even when Garou disagrees with teaming up with him, he still waits on the sidelines for Garou to give him a setup for him to take advantage of Flashy's like vulnerable position.
But then he also does that to Garou. That's why I'm like, at least on that point, I think we can move on from that point because it's gonna be a standoff. I don't think that can be like it has to be a standoff because I agree it's odd that he said that, but the oddity of it is the clearest sign or is the clearest indication that he's fucking with these people. If we can agree on the fact that he was trying to kill Garou, he was not trying to team up with Garou. That's not what the end result was. He was gonna kill that motherfucker. He was gonna kill him.
He can want to kill Garou, but he wants to kill, like, he could want to kill Garou in the 1v1. So he
Here's
tries
what
to.
Here's what the statements. The smart play here would be to concentrate our attacks together and finish them. Then move one-on-one battle. I think these aren't the words of someone solely looking to fuck with Flashy Flash. Now, obviously,
No, fuck
Platinum,
with Garou.
Fuck. He doesn't. Well, he doesn't know that Garou doesn't teaming. Well,
Yes,
I don't think that's even him fucking
No,
with
that's
Garou.
not what I'm saying, bro. I'm saying that this character is not stable. I'm saying that the argument that I have is that this character had no intention of teaming up with anybody. Like he was saying, the entirety of the storyline, he was going to kill everybody and be the king of monsters, even Orochi himself. He's never had any quabbles or any problems with fighting the strongest motherfuckers at any time period. He was not bluffing when he was talking about fighting Orochi. When he and having Garou giving him that promise, that was not cap. That was a declaration of one of the strongest fights or one of the greatest fights we're gonna see in the manga. Like that's what that was. That's how serious that shit is. Black Sperm ain't no fucking joke. It's just simply put like that. He's not no clown. That's why I'm hold on. That's why I'm saying that. Go ahead.
No, go. That's fine. Go finish my line.
No.
Sorry.
You go.
It's like I don't think that lines up with what happens. Because Platinum says that to Garou, and it's not really worded. It's not really like implied that he's doing it to fuck with Garou. He genuinely he can want to kill Garou, but he can also recognize that taking out Flashy Flash first is the smartest move in order to fight Garou as quickly as possible. Because compared to Garou, he doesn't really care about Flashy Flash that much. He doesn't have a grudge against Flashy Flash, and then right after, when Garou sucker punches Platinum is pissed.
But that's not what Shattered is saying, though. Shattered is adding, with certain words, adding the context that Platinum was requiring, or he was taking these scenarios for a particular reason that he had to do it. And I'm saying that was not the case. He did it in this manner because he's that devious. It was advantageous for him to try and trick Garou into thinking that they were going to team up to then sneak his ass because he was the bigger problem. And he was fucking with Flash the entire time. He was even talking shit to Flash's face. He's like, "You're not a real hero. You're here for your pride. You saw that we're out here outclassing you and you're getting mad, bro. You're not really about saving nobody, bro. You're not here about saving nobody, bro." Like, to me, that's what it was. Like, Black Sperm, even to Atomic Samurai himself, bro, to everybody, to Black Sperm, to Darkshine even. He was clowning all these niggas, saying, "You're not a real hero. You're just here to fight, bro."
Shattered can clarify on his point. With,
Well, then, yeah. So I'm not saying it's literally like the whole point is that Platinum in this case of consistency cannot be 100 times like stronger and faster than Flashy, or else weapons wouldn't matter, like conditions wouldn't matter, like teaming up would not even be like something that would be
it would just blitz and basically one-shot Flash.
It wouldn't be something of it wouldn't be something of convenience for him to even use the words that it's a smart play is just obscene, right? And then especially like right after, like previously mentioned, the fact that he goes out of his way to still against Garou's will use his attacks as an advantage against Flashy, like multiple times. He does it twice. Like he goes out of his way to wait for Garou to like parry an attack or wait for Garou to push Flashy away so then he can get a free hit on Flashy.
That's what I'm saying. That's how you're interpreting the situation, bro. It's why isn't it that Garou was attacking Flashy, and then because Platinum had just attacked Garou or whatever, it was next his turn or his opportunity to attack Flashy because he was open and he was the closest guy next to him. Like it's when you say he had taken the advantage of or taken the advantage of that scenario, he had purposely waited for. It's as if you're giving intent that's not being displayed there. Like that. What I saw from that interaction was that these guys were. Go ahead.
The intent is through his statements, right? Because his action the direct action right before he asks Garou to team up is him taking advantage of a strike that Garou placed and set up for him, or like not specifically for him, but that he took advantage of. That's not teaming
up. That's him taking advantage of him because he also attacks Garou.
Yeah. But then right after he does this, he takes advantage of what Garou just did. He then asks him in the very next panel to team up and cooperate against Flashy. So he clearly has intent there, right? Because in the next panel he goes and asks Garou, likely due to the fact that he sees how convenient and easy, more easily he'd be able to deal with Flashy. Like there's no reason if he wanted to just fight Garou and truly just kill him, there'd be no reason for him to really just not like he clearly wants Flashy out of the fight so he can kill Garou.
No. So but listen, you're not arguing up against somebody who's downplaying or clowning Flashy Flash. We're having a genuine conversation here. I'm not implying that Platinum could have just squashed or swatted away Flashy Flash at any time period. Yes, work and effort was required to beat Flashy Flash. What I'm saying is that the skill and the capabilities of Platinum Sperm and of what I call, I guess you can consider Super Alloy Garou, or maybe like Super Fang Garou because he had just beaten Super Fang.
Like Monster Garou.
Their power level was not comparable to Flashy Flash. Flashy Flash being able to fight with them did not mean that they were of a comparable skill level. It meant that he had skills that they were using and he could compete. He only took a few hits from them. Like it's
he took a lot of hits, to be honest.
He took a lot of hits.
No, he didn't take, bro. We can count, bro. I counted. Bro, you're talking to me, bro. I counted, bro. It was less than 12 hits that he took from these boys, bro. No. It was less than 3 hits. He took less than 3 hits, bro.
It had to have been more than 3. It had to have been more than 3 because he got hit by like God Fist.
And like even if that were the case, it's like all of those strikes are strikes that can one shot Dark Shine.
Oh,
those are all attacks
Dark Shine. All right, so we're doing that. Okay.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm saying that like
okay, bro. Okay,
bro. Being hit by Platinum is like significant in order to like scale his durability. Like it's significant in that regard because Platinum is stronger than Gold.
Is he?
Okay. Anyway, who said that?
Look, bro. That was good. That was good, kid.
What's going on? Yeah. Been a minute.
But yeah, he didn't just take a few hits. He took like a lot of hits, plus the God Fist.
Yeah, the thing is, God Fist is a thing.
Hold on, 1 second, bro. Let's put a pause to this creditlessness here. What's good, Kyo?
What's going on? Can you hear me?
How you been, brother?
Pretty good, just chilling. What's this debate about? This is Platinum versus.
Look at all these fucking panels.
Well, this is the first time I'm meeting Shattered, and he's very well read in One Punch Man. So he's just giving his opinion on the Flashy Flash versus Atomic debate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Have you been what's good with you, bro? What you been reading?
Nothing, just really One Punch Man. That's it. but it's been a while since I've done a reread.
How you feel about Empty Void?
Empty peak.
Me, I want to wait till we get like a little bit more on it, but I guess for now it's alright.
You know, you like it more than Homeless, or like more than Sairochi, or how you feel?
No, I mean, Holmes has been pretty impressive, more so than so far, to me at least.
Okay. Well, shit, bro.
Yeah.
I know you was on that like that Atomic gang. You still think Atomic's the strongest guy in the world? Because I agree with you.
When did I say that?
Damn, it's like that, huh?
I'm not. This is
Wait,
what.
wait.
This is what.
I
He was
had a quick
never on
question.
that train.
I had a quick question. Uh, when it comes to like translations, right? There's the Kubati and then there's Viz. So because we have Viz translations, like since they're the official, does that mean that these other translations are just irrelevant?
Not
Um,
necessarily. Not necessarily.
No.
I wouldn't say that.
Oh, okay.
Because
Go
The
ahead,
problem is, okay, the problem is the guy that translates a lot of One Punch Man, John Wary, is famously really horrible. And he does a lot of JJK. And his Jujutsu Kaisen, yeah, his Jujutsu Kaisen translations are horrible. Like he says, like
wait,
certain,
hold, Chad. Actually, you can't go into that because like Grim doesn't want to be spoiled in JJK.
no, I wasn't gonna say anything specific.
Okay.
But he basically like attributes character abilities that aren't like that character doesn't actually have that ability, but he'll say that they do. Like his yeah, they're very just convoluted and really, really bad. Like I've went through the kanji for a lot of like his translations myself, or like the raw scans a lot, and honestly, John Wary is just probably one of the worst translators I think I've ever like seen, especially out of Viz, like especially he just kind of makes stuff up a lot of the time. That's why like a lot of people would tend to use the Kabari translation over it because there actually is a full team of like dedicated fan translators that like to go through everything specifically and make sure that they get like the perfect wording for every panel that they can.
He also like takes into account
if that
context
guy's the
and
official release, then he's the official word. I agree that, or it may be the case that like the Reddit version is like literally
well,
more
that's
accurate
authority
because
though.
that's what I read. I don't read the Viz, but like the only other thing that I could say is that like the majority of the fans' opinion. I literally run a channel. I've been reading it for like 4 to 5 years. The majority of people's opinions or understandings are built from the initial Kubati translation, and then in One Piece, that's the strongest community where I see people that will go back to the Viz. I even used to do that too, and use the Viz's translation for like argument's sake or correction of like certain specifics, but I don't see it that much in One Punch Man or even at all. There's I believe there's less credibility as Shatter is pointing out.
No,
for
the
Viz.
community as a whole fucking hates Viz. They like overall the community fucking despises Viz. Honestly,
So
Yeah,
why?
like
Yeah,
so
that
I asked that because like let's hear an example, right? Let's just say that there's like a dedicated or a legit One Punch Man fan who has shelf space dedicated to like Viz, the actual volumes of One Punch Man. Like they're Viz, right? They're only Viz. So
how are
um
you? Sorry.
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
let's just say like he's only using like volumes, right? To debate somebody and he's like pulling out these volumes that are Viz translated, but someone like he's debating on Discord is just like using Kubati. Like, how would you guys
Um,
have to like just compromise or?
the
Yeah,
Viz.
so typically you'd have to establish that, right? Like, if you two were like having like an organized debate or whatever, then you would have to establish like, hey, is this translation cool? Is this translation cool? A lot of people, like for example, a lot of people that do like JJK, they have a team on TCB, and a lot of people will say at the beginning, like, are you cool? Like, is TCB fine? Because TCB is like the more renowned translation. Like, again, because people don't really trust John Wary. He makes a lot of stuff up and just straight up translates like stuff really like incorrectly.
Oh, really?
So people will actually stray away and agree to not do like the Viz translation and will instead use TCB. And in this case, that also happens with like One Punch Man and Kubari, where people will just tend to use Kubari more because there is a full team of dedicated fans that actually do know Japanese that will go through it and they understand the context, obviously, because they are actual fans of One Punch Man, the series. Um, which does matter a lot, especially when referring to something like kanji and really anything in terms of like Japanese literature, because it's a lot less specific than English, because English has
It's
a lot more.
very contextual. It's very
Yeah,
contextual.
English has a lot more words. Kanji can mean 3 to 4 different things. So context really does matter, and being like having read an entire series definitely helps when bringing in context. So it's something that has to be agreed upon, and then if it's not, you'd kind of just go into like a semantical discussion on like the actual raw like kanji, and have to go through the kanji itself and talk about which one is more valid. But
Yes.
more times than not, people will just agree to a specific translation, or just say that both translations can be used, and if there's a roadblock in the way, then they'll discuss which translation they believe to be more valid.
Yeah, because I feel like you could pick and choose depending on the translation, like to favor your argument on whatever it
Absolutely, yeah.
is.
Yeah, absolutely. There's certain scans on Viz, like when I'm like trolling, that like I'll use Viz's translation despite me knowing that like, especially for that specific page, it's just straight up wrong in terms of like what the kanji actually says, and you can just use it for the sake of the argument, right? Like they did, like, if especially if the person you're talking to doesn't actually know like what it actually says. Like certain statements of like characters being stronger than one another straight up just aren't there, but they are in Viz. So it's really weird to make that distinction. But yeah, if you're being like truthfully honest, then that won't be an issue. If somebody is trying to rap, then you kind of just have to have that knowledge, or else it'll like probably slide past you.
So right now with this discussion, it's just Kubari translations or both?
Yeah.
Yeah, I try to implement both because I don't want to just like completely erase like those out of existence. I do want to respect those.
It's like a more holistic viewing to include
No
both.
rules for this,
basically.
bro. We just
Yeah.
talking, bro. I'm not debating nobody.
Okay.
We're just talking, bro.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I mean, it has the potential to cause confusion.
We're
No,
just
it
we're
definitely does.
doing this shit mostly.
Okay.
Like at the end of the day, like to me, it's still really just a depiction of like what's your overall understanding of what the compilation of the story is so far. Like to me,
Yeah.
I see Flashy Flash in a different light. I think that's just pointing
Oh,
out
yeah.
that I see him like Lightning Max, but at like a whole different level. Like this guy encountered some problems that he's now striving through, and he's also like leading the storyline for the mystery thing. I don't see him as like this being who was always godly. No, it's like this guy's a fucking speed demon, and because of his speed, that particular trait, kind of like the whole atomic thing, like he can cut almost anything. That doesn't mean he's like one of the strongest guys out there.
Hey,
Fear almost took him
what's
down.
this guy's name? Great Shogun? Oh, no.
Atomic?
Bro, who's talking, bro?
That was
Great
Shattered.
Shogun. So if there's a big circle around me that's green, it means stay out of the circle. So like, if you're in the
Hello?
circle,
You
I'll
guys
just
hear
be
that?
taking damage.
Oh.
You clearly didn't know what
I
that
don't
shit
hear anything.
was, and you just ended
Not
up
anymore,
killing me.
just-
But
Hey,
now
bro,
know,
can you hear
so
me, bro?
Smarten up.
Yeah.
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 What the fuck, bro? There was
What?
somebody from the Forerunner chat. I guess he just came onto the audio, or whatever. Bro, this fucking clown. Don't nobody care about your circle, clown. What the fuck? Chat or viewers, I don't know if y'all heard that shit. This nigga was talking about that. Nobody care about your circle, fucking clown. What the fuck? My bad, bro.
What?
What were we talking about?
You said something about like were you talking about like Atomic almost losing the
Oh
Ugly,
yeah,
or?
yeah. We were talking
Yeah.
about like my opinion not changing that like Atomic's like gonna kill Flashy Flash anytime he sees him. Be like, what were we talking about? Like almost losing. What were you think you're gonna get me, Bill? Like, what the fuck, bro? Losing what, bro?
He
Losing
would
the hose?
fucking-
Not even that, bitch. Like stop.
He would fucking slam Atomic without the sunblock, but
Who Blast? Yeah, probably. You right. Yeah, maybe.
nah, Flashy.
I don't know.
Sorry.
I don't know. Flashy thought he could beat Blast now, so who knows? Who knows?
This guy's like, it's
Also, in case you get the wrong idea, Empty Void will also just catch the Sunblade and like snap that shit.
real talk,
Bro,
no
Empty
serious talk,
Void,
no
Empty
bullshit.
Void
Like,
is
the character is kind of endearing too because he is like cocky like that. Like he does like have that demeanor to him and like the aesthetic and the coolness and shit. Even the whole feminine look or whatever, like in the whole ninja style, like it's for sure badass and all that. But like it like it makes it that much more like realistic. And whenever he takes an ego hit like that, like he has, that he would be reacting to it. But I wanted more of a visceral dark reaction. I don't like how friendly or how soft. Like it's just everything's been made so soft in reference to One Punch Man.
I think for Flashy specifically, it does make sense within his character for him to not hold on to it anymore. Like we see, for example, right? Darkshine and Flashy are in the exact same predicament, yet have such viscerally different reactions. Darkshine is curling up into a ball. He can barely even lift weights. He's crying constantly, and he can't accept who he is and what his limits are. But the difference between him and Flashy is that Flashy realizes that he may not be the best at what he does, but that won't stop him from getting better. That won't stop him from putting his pride aside and putting his best effort forward to being as good as he possibly can be, and no longer identifying himself with being the fastest. His identity no longer lies within him being the fastest of all of in ever, right? The fastest to ever exist, or the fastest that even lives on the planet currently, right? His identity no longer lies within that, so he can put his pride aside and just become a better version of himself, which allows him to become a lot stronger and allows him to see situations a lot more clearly. And that's why he's so respectful to somebody like Flashy. And he's like, wow, you're like actually, or somebody like Sonic, sorry, that he's like, wow, you're actually like really fast, and I didn't expect to use this on you, right? He puts a lot of respect on his name, and he's able to recognize and see like, oh wow, you're actually fast. Whereas before, he wouldn't do something like that. He'd, as if you're slower than him, then you don't matter, right? That's what was his perspective was before, but that's not what it is now. And I think that makes sense for Flashy. And I think that Darkshine's arc obviously makes sense for him because he has a lot of more different and a lot more visceral reaction to the same situation.
I joined this discussion late, so I don't know if you guys did you guys like try figuring out or talk about whether or not Atomic Samurai unsheathing his blade is faster than Flashy Flash, or
We kind of went over that. It's weird. I don't know.
That's kind
We
of my
didn't
whole
really
argument,
go
but no,
Okay.
we didn't because it's like unprovable. You can't really compare
Yeah.
it to drawing, so
I get yeah.
you'd
Yeah.
have to use a
Yeah.
feeder statement or anything like that, and I don't. There's nothing to me.
I think Flashy has better feats, but obviously that's
Yeah,
like
well, yeah,
obviously
but my point was that although I think he wins right now, and although I think he has better showings, I don't think that Atomic's slashing speed has an upper limit. There's never been somebody that's fast enough to straight up stop one of his or stop his atomic slash midway through, or like catch his blade. So we don't actually know how fast it can be because it hasn't shown an upper limit yet.
Oh, you're saying like in a clash between like an atomic slash and something, nothing's like shown to be
No one's ever
speed
caught
wise.
his blade.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Like
like
speed superior.
it's not like somebody's ever like his atomics ever unsheathed his sword and then somebody caught it or something, right? Like that's never happened. So although like his atomic slash doesn't have better feats right now, it also doesn't have an upper limit. Like we can't say, okay, these characters are 100% faster. We just know that they have better showings than the atomic slash. It's not that they are definitively faster because the
I
atomic
mean, they
slash
don't
doesn't
though.
have.
Atomic not only has, as we're talking about speed, he has a better or a crazier power rating too. In terms of power, he way outclasses Flashy Flash, and almost. I'm not gonna say Darkshine at all, but I'm talking about the
I mean, I was an advocate. I mean, I'll still rock it sometimes, but an advocate for saying that like I'm not atomic down player. I was literally saying that base atomic without Sunblade could potentially beat Darkshine. So it's like
No, for sure. But I'm talking about like when it was Jet Rochi, and Genos and Drive Knight were fighting her in the air, and then they tank top through the building, and Atomic cut the building top or the roof or whatever, so everybody could come through or whatever.
oh yeah. the building yet.
Sairochi threw a blast at them, and Atomic cut that. And then when you see the aftermath of that in the background, you see how strong that explosion was. That's what I'm talking about in terms of power. Like, Flashy's not doing that.
I can see what you're saying. I mean, to be fair, like he's fighting people that, like, for example, like Garou at the time, him just stepping on the ground created like that giant, like it created the rubble that they were even fighting on. Like, and that was just Garou like falling down and like slamming his feet on the ground, right? And that's like those are the blows that he has to block and like parry throughout the entire fight.
Not comparable.
Bro, I don't know why he had such an obsession with that spot and dying.
You don't think so?
But each his own.
Oh, that guy.
Comparable to what? Sorry.
My bad. The guy from the game keeps talking to me. No, I don't think it's comparable. That particular display of Atomic's power or ability to like cut in half that big beam attack that like I think I can show you the panels or Adol if you can pull it up. I'm talking about the panel where Atomic cuts the beam, and then in the background you see like the explosions. There's 4 explosions in the background, and it's notable because they're so high up in the air, but the explosions are so big and so high up that it means that that attack was powerful and got split into 4. So Atomic is powerful for that particular reason. I think that's a bigger display of how in a not full power setting, Atomic Samurai's physical strength was displayed in contrast to the maybe fully intense or whatever the situation may be or how you want to take it, blows that were exchanged to Flashy Flash. I'm not downplaying that they were beating on him. I'm not downplaying that these guys are strength cannons. I'm not downplaying Flashy Flash's durability at all. I'm not saying that. He's a complete fighter. One of the strongest niggas out there. I'm saying that show me something to where he did something like that. Like, the only thing I can think of is the...
What's your gamer tag? Great Shogun? Vaporize? Delete the game.
The fact that I'm top fragging over you two fucks, holy shit. Delete the fucking game. Oh my...
I don't know if the chat can hear these niggas talking shit, but...
I hear him now.
Okay. No. Please respond to what I said, because I just fucking lost my train of thought because of him.
I guess I would just say that, like...
Also, before you say something, Joe, those are also, like, the same beams that, like, Drained Drive Knight is clashing with, by the way, which is crazy.
Yeah. Like...
That's cap, bro.
No, it's not cap. It's the beam.
It's just true.
No, that's not the same beam, bro. It may came from the same person. It wasn't the same beam, man.
I mean, I don't think there's a difference. Not that we know of, at least. It looks like the same kind of beam that she was firing before.
That's like saying Jesus' single hand cannon is the same as his chest cannon.
Yeah, well, no, that's clearly different because not only does it have like a different name, it has a different size, and it also has a different it has stated different output.
This one had a clearly different pose of release. Like, it came from her back, and that bitch was charged up. Like, she was trying to fuck over the niggas coming out of the building.
I'm pretty sure Drive Knight takes the same attack. Actually, Drive Knight takes the attack that is like the energy of Genos and himself combined, like, and it comes out of her back.
Yeah, that wasn't the same power though. The one that she threw at the building, it was a big building, bro. A big building.
Oh yeah, they threw like half a skyscraper up there. Or whatever.
Nah, fuck with you, bro.
It's pretty tall.
Nah, I definitely agree, bro. This is definitely like I'm looking forward to. I'm glad Flashy Flash is like this as a character, and I'm interested to see how they're gonna change it because I wasn't too keen on his like whole redemption story, but the way that you pointed out, or at least like displayed it, that this character had a similar dilemma as Darkseid, but his response to it is much more different, and we're already not only seeing the verbal or the declared differences of Flashy Flash improving, but we're seeing him like actually do better than what he was doing before. So I fuck with that, but we're gonna get a retcon of this shit. So let's see how that shit changes.
Yeah, I definitely don't want them to change like the core concepts of like what makes Flashy different now. I definitely don't want them to change that. Obviously, it'll be nice to see it redrawn and stuff, but I hope they keep like the same core of his character the same because I think if they ruin his progression, that'll make me like not appreciate Flashy as much as I do right now.
To me, they fumbled.
and his dynamic with Sonic as well will be a lot worse if they don't keep that intact.
I'm actually looking forward to them getting rid of that. I think that they fucked up with like the display because it made it seem like Sonic and Flashy were comparable. That's one of the things that I think is good that they're going to be retconning. But
Okay, I mean, to be fair,
Not really.
I know that I haven't read it, but I know that in the webcomic they're like it's way worse. Like they're way more. Though you can tell me, but I'm pretty sure they're way more like clearly relative. Like I think like Sonic even like lands blows on Flashy and everything.
yeah, that's why it doesn't make sense. And the manga is not like that. And yeah, in the manga it's not like that. That's the actual disconnect as to why people like Sonic and why I've never I don't. The only time I liked Sonic was when in a deep seeking scenario. That was it. Even whenever he was fighting like Genos, I was like, why is this third rate character trying to compete with Genos? Like it was okay. It was a nice gag, but like he got outclassed. The fact that he got left out of the Monster Association arc, that really was a hit against him because we were in the arc for like 3 years and he wasn't relevant for that time period. It's kind of like I was gonna bring up as to change the topic, but we can stay on this too, about how you guys feel about Metal Bat, because I think
Oh yeah.
they may have fumbled him, and I don't know what to expect from Metal Bat moving forward, and I'm kind of worried, but I don't know. So yeah. How do you guys feel?
Oh, like it's weird. It's weird, like Metal Bat's current predicament, because they did give him some crazy stuff last time we saw him. So it's like,
You think it's weird because shouldn't he be very, very strong?
yeah, he should be. The thing is, he should definitely be like absurd. He's probably not on like right now, like as he's standing, walking around at this moment. He's probably not as strong as he was at the end of that fight with Sage and such. But he should be a lot stronger because, like, for example, if you took Metal Bat that fought Hero Hunter Garou, in no way, shape, or form is he taking like the centipede march that he took when he like was in the Monster Association. So that does imply that like as his body evolves within these fights with fighting spirit, his body does like actually experience these forces and he gets a lot stronger from it. But we know he doesn't keep it to the exact same level because like he does have like some relative trouble with some of like the black. Yeah.
He was gonna beat EC. Like that's.
I think eventually he
on
could.
that one, but I do agree that like it's hard, bro, because we haven't seen it yet. We don't know if he's gonna keep that power level. When he showed up in the Monster Association arc, was he really that? Like, wasn't it something else happened that he got pumped up along the way? That's how it was, right?
Well, actually, no, because when he gets hit by the centipede march, he says, "Now I'm feeling pumped up."
That's what I'm saying. He could have always beat EC. He wasn't gonna get fucking killed by that.
The thing is, the difference between Sage and EC is huge, and hits from EC were breaking Metal Bat's bones. I don't think it's impossible that he could have beat EC at the time. I think that's like fair to say, right? Because it's like it's even stated that he can take out like dragon level threats depending on the scenario.
Exactly. That's what I was gonna lean on. If you didn't,
I definitely don't want to downplay him in that aspect. I love Metal Bat, one of my favorite like characters in general. And I do think that he's like more impressive than like people would give him credit for, right? Because even in the Garou fight, he wasn't actually done fighting. He just lost his fighting spirit because of like Zenko or whatever, and like interrupting, and then Garou like walking away. So he would have still been able to like keep fighting Garou, even with all his broken bones. But the difference between like Sage and EC is pretty massive. That like in base, he's able to like relatively tank an entire like centipede march that's able to like damage somebody like Garou post like after defeating Platinum, which is a huge feat on his end. And that's apparently, according to him, before he even like got pumped up, because he only gets pumped up after he gets hit there. So he definitely did get stronger after his body experiencing these levels of force and like him having to take his own attacks twofold especially such strong attacks to the point where at the end of the fight he could have killed Garou with a single hit. So it does definitely show that he's gotten stronger, but he likely doesn't keep the exact same level of strength. He just keeps some portion of that fighting spirit amp because we have to take into account that the other part of his fighting spirit amp is a mental thing. It's based on like how pumped up he is mentally and not just physically.
You guys think everybody has fighting spirit in the manga,
No.
or is that just specifically dedicated to Metal Bat?
No.
Metal Bat-
It's being confused. Like, it's not like your determination to stay in the fight. That's what it is essentially. But the power up from it is something that only Metal Bat and Garou managed to mimic. It's like,
Yeah.
it's like the exponential growth of your strength in connection to your emotion. We didn't see
So
that.
you
From
don't think, like-
Moon didn't get like multiple times stronger whenever he got it. Like, was screaming like ah. It didn't happen.
You don't think like when Tank Top said that his tank top was tightening was like a form of fighting spirit?
I think the tank top is like symbiotic, honestly. Loki.
There's some real magic there.
Yeah.
That's just straight up magic, yeah.
Like he got his tank top pulled on and he came back to life. So I don't know.
But like we never did it ever say like where you got his tank top from? It was just like a tank top from like
He
the
just
thrift shop, or
wore it. Like you just get powers from obsession and One Punch Man.
Yeah, that's actually true. Yeah.
yeah.
I'm honestly surprised that Tank Top hasn't become a monster, like due to his obsession. Like how Crab Lante became Crab Lante because he like loved crab too much and ate it so much.
That really seems to be like the difference, or one of the like philosophical differences between like monsters and like the heroes, as they pointed out. I think Genius actually mentioned it, that like heroes are kind of like monsters or whatever, but it's like the cause is what you were supposed to derive from it. Like the reason why these guys turn into monsters is because of some type of obsession they can't control, some type of crazy thing that happens. But these heroes also have crazy scenarios or crazy obsessions. They just happen to like have them under control, or they're not detrimental to society or something like that. But it's an interesting contrast if you try to look at it from that viewpoint.
Oh damn, he had to go. Rip.
Say that again?
He had to go. I think so.
Oh. Well, all I'm saying is it would just be nice if we got more lore of like fighting spirit and what it really is, or what it could be, or its potential. Like, because I mean, so I guess there's really only two characters we know of, right? That mention fighting spirit, right? So there's Garou and just Metal Bat. But I feel like it could be like an instance of like, you know how in Naruto, right? For example, how the 8 gates, anyone could learn the 8 gates. It's just really, really, really hard to do. I think Kakashi could only reach like the second gate. I don't remember. Don't quote me on that. But that's all. It's like I'm hoping that we get more like insight on that, just to see if like anyone can do it, and would that like if anyone could do it, would that like, or if it was exclusive to like maybe just Garou and Metal Bat, would that like upscale Metal Bat in a way?
It does, 100%. It already does. That's why he's like so highly ranked. The fact that he can arbitrarily fight almost any opponent because of how much, or depending on what his durability is. If you don't knock out Metal Bat immediately, he's going to get stronger exponentially. And it may not be exponentially stronger than you, but eventually will be.
So was it like a case of like pre-redraw Phoenix Man, where like unless you remove the suit, you can't kill him?
No, because it's if you take his leg away or if you cut his arm off, he is going to be weaker indefinitely. Like, Garou did mention that his attacks were getting stronger, even though he was getting more beat up. Even after he had encountered the whole EC thing, and even after he had been beaten up by Senior Centipede 2. So he had been getting pumped up for a while. And it was incremental damage. So like obviously the damage that he was taking from EC and Garou was much tougher than the damage he took from Senior. But like it was still damage. So that's what I'm saying. If you can like hit him with like a king type punch off the bat, yeah. It's just based on how strong he is at the moment. And if he's only like what, 8 or not 8, but like high demon level in terms of durability or something like that, or low dragon, then he can easily be defeated. But if you're not bringing that type of impact, and most characters aren't because it's a story scenario, so they're underestimating him or they're not going full power off the bat, he's dangerous. Like EC's the perfect setup because he's not crazy offensive. His threat comes from like him moving and his destructiveness. Like Metal Bat had a chance to get real strong.
I always felt like he depended more so on his fight IQ than his fighting spirit. I mean, what do you guys think? Hello?
I think the exact opposite, man.
Oh. Well, it's just me and you now. Everybody left.
I gotta close out anyway.
But, yeah, no. But yeah, I guess,
Been
Flash
here
is
for
fast,
2
bro.
hours, kid. I gotta close out, bro.
I get you.
Boys.
Alright then, bro.
Yeah. Like the video, boys. Look out for the next one. It should be the podcast with the live reaction. For the next 2 chapters. It's just getting exciting, bro. I'm looking forward to it. And I'll see you on the next one. Yo ho ho!